All right. Joshicle's number 7. Let's do this. So, this is the one where I'm going to talk about the moral imperative of veganism. There simply isn't a justification for allowing people to continue to consume animal products. There really isn't. The most common killers in America are heart disease, and it's the number one killer of all Americans. And we know empirically, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that animal products contribute to that. Cholesterol, clogging the arteries, making the heart work harder, when all you have to do is just eat plants. Like, that's just eat plants. And Joe Rogan is participating in this. Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. It's cool that you can feel good about your body looking like that. But you can achieve the same results with a plant-based diet. The biggest creatures on this planet aren't meat eaters. They are strict vegetarians and vegans. Like, it's just a fact. Whales are a different thing, but I think whales are the blue whales or sperm whales. One of those guys is the biggest, physically biggest creature. But the bulkiest, the strongest ones, more importantly, the land-dwelling ones are strictly vegetarian and vegan. That's just reality. And another reality is all protein is originated from plants. When you eat meat, you just get it secondhand. Yeah, it's processed more for the mammalian way, but if we were carnivores, if we were meant to eat meat as much as we do, let alone at all, then we wouldn't have the many diseases that are strictly caused from eating meat. The only diseases a vegan-based diet could potentially be responsible for is deficiencies. But that's true of any diet. That is true of eating strictly animals. Like, you're not going to get fiber on an animal diet. That's going to destroy your digestive system. And with a destroyed digestive system, you're not able to consume. You're not able to heal yourself. Like, period. You can't. Food is the number one source of wellness, health, and life, of course. If you just wreck your gut by only eating animal products, you're not. It's just, you're fucked. You're royally fucked as a human being. I've witnessed through the passing. I hate saying passing. That's another video. Through the death of my uncle. The stubbornness people have with consuming, like, just junk. Yes, it feels good in that moment, and there is a comfort in that, and I believe everyone really should strive to be as comfortable as possible, because the world is pretty shitty. But another meme I saw online is you have to take into account whether or not your enjoyment or pleasure is causing the suffering of someone else. And there is no debate whether or not mass production of animal products causes suffering and death. And the flip side to this argument is, oh, you want to have small family farms, which are unsustainable worldwide. You can't feed a planet of 8 billion meat eaters on small family farms. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take up too much land mass, and it's going to cause even more pollution than what it does already. And the fact of the matter is, you're getting people by the thousands or millions to raise these beings from infancy who look toward to you, and whatever you give them, the comfort of food, maybe a place to exist, a spot to exist. They look to you as maybe a parental figure or guardian, and these people then just surrender these beings who have grown to love them to be murdered for profit. For profit or for personal pleasure, and consuming their corpse. And there's so many fucking things wrong with that. A predator is not going to... first of all, there's no other animal on the planet that's capable of raising another species with the intent purely to kill it. And if you want to argue that that's what makes us special, then you're also arguing some pretty shitty outlooks of humanity. So many times I hear meat eaters completely forget the ethical and the emotional side, because it suits their argument. Like if you want to make arguments, if you want to have a debate, you have to include everything. You can't just forego parts that make your argument look more palatable, more reasonable. It really stings, because I know Joaquin Phoenix is vegan, and he's been vegan his entire life. And when you see him discuss diet on camera, he's very careful not to show exactly what he truly feels, because he understands the pushback and the hatred, and his livelihood is based on people's perception of him. He's been a very private person, and he's really gotten a lot of attention because of his performance in Joker, which is a pretty amazing film. And I have no doubt in my mind that he uses the pain of seeing others completely dismiss the entire beings of other animals on this planet as the fuel behind being Joker. Like, there is no doubt in my mind, and because you have to be extremely like, when you've been vegan for enough time, you realize that you can either be that angry person, or you can the righteously angry person, or you can try to just kind of accept the world the way it is. And there is always a part of you that is deeply disappointed in others for choosing suffering and death of these creatures who, if given the chance, would show you loyalty and compassion and caring and everything that makes what we consider good. And we are just completely exploiting that. And that you notice they never tried to domesticate rhinos. We don't know how delicious rhinos could have been. It's always the creatures that are capable of emotion and kindness. We may have bred the rebelliousness out of them through our own. How evil is that? We created an entire species of creatures that are subservient to us, waiting for us to kill them. When you think about every single facet of why veganism is an imperative, a moral imperative, it's something that you really have to realize that there is no other option. You have to choose this lifestyle, because health-wise, it forces you to pay attention to labels. It forces you to scan ingredient lists. So you're more aware of your food. So you're going to be more health conscious just because you are avoiding specific products. You're avoiding animal products. So that's one of the benefits of veganism, is because it forces you to give a shit about what you're eating. Because that's the lifestyle. Another thing is 70% of soy production, one of the biggest crops in the entire world, is for animal agriculture. 70%. You can't get 70% of people in a room to agree on something. But like, how is that relevant? I don't know. But 70% of an entire crop that is covering this planet is purely to feed creatures who need to eat until they're ready to be killed. When the soy itself is a seriously beneficial source of protein. Like, we could feed the entire planet. But we're feeding these creatures until they're big enough to kill. Purely because, not because we like the taste, because we don't like the taste. Have you ever eaten meat, like untouched meat? Aside from some sushis and whatnot, I don't even know if they're like, you don't eat just raw meat like a meat eater would. Humans have to salt it. They have to add minerals and plants to the meat to make it more palatable. A carnivore would never do that. Like, there's no example of that in the entire universe. Well, that's an argument that's unrealistic. So, yeah, this is one of my serious videos, biggest videos, longest videos. Thank you very much for enduring it. I appreciate all of the 0 of you who will ever watch this video. I am going to try to start making silly short stories, and a lot of them have been whirling around in my mind based on veganism. So you're going to be able to enjoy, all 0 of you are going to be able to enjoy that. Oh, I love the internet. It makes you feel like you're talking to everybody, but you're really not, unless you're already super popular. So, thank you for number 7. For viewing number 7, Joshicles of Joshua.